Hi everyone, it's Danny. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a little demo video to show you guys how to make this beautiful floral card from Confessions of a Paper Addict cut files. At the beginning of the video you would have seen the cut file. It is the envelope, which is gorgeous. It's got this floral detail at the top, and the card front, which is also beautiful, intricate floral. So the first thing you want to do is make sure when you're cutting these files out on your machine, if you're going to resize them, you want to resize them together. If you do that, the card will fit perfectly in the envelope. So first thing I'm doing here is going through with my Cricut. It is a paper trimmer, but it has the scoring blade on it, so it's not going to cut through, it's going to score. So if you have a scoreboard, that is what you are going to want to use instead, or you can just fold this if you want to, but I find it just gives you a nice crisp line if you score it first. So I'm going through carefully from corner to corner and making sure that I get those lines nice and crisp, and I do have to go back in with a couple of them and just carefully folding all those edges. So here we go. I am going to fold them all over, and you just want to be careful when you first start folding. Just don't go too rough when you first start folding it. Keep it gentle, and that way you won't get any tears in the paper. I'm using pretty sturdy cardstock, but still folding does stress paper, so just try and be gentle, especially up here at the top when you're folding over the floral detail section. So there we go. Just carefully folding this. Just have to be quite gentle because that floral detail is quite intricate. And then once that is all done, I'm going to go in with my bone folder and make those edges all nice and crisp. And you want to be quite gentle in the top there with your bone folder. With the other sides, obviously, it's not such a concern. There we go. Envelope, beautiful, so pretty. And then just a little bit of adhesive on either side of this bottom flap. Press it closed. There you go. You can use a ATG like I did. You can use a double-sided adhesive tape roll. You can use a little bit of glue, whatever you would like. Okay, so now I'm going through and making my actual card. I am just going to take a piece of cardstock the same height as the card front, score it down the middle, and then fold over and crisp up that edge with my bone folder. And you want to make sure your edges are together before you use your bone folder, which I did not do. Easy enough to fix though. And then I'm going to trim off the edges of my card to perfectly fit. You could cut the card out in your Silhouette or your Cricut if you wanted to. I just decided to do it afterwards. It's pretty easy to cut a card shape. It's just a plain rectangle. So I'm going to do some fun mixed media on this card. So I'm going through with my white gesso, and this didn't really do its job. I ended up adding a lot of liquid, but it does help keep the paper from falling apart if you're going to add a lot of liquid. So I am going to add a little bit of washi tape. My plan was to get this to sort of mask off the back of my card, but I do end up using a lot of splatters and it really didn't matter too much anyway. But it does help keep my card stuck to the desk. I'm going in with a few mists. I have the gold Kaiser mist there, the Heidi Swap Color Shining Coral, and then another Kaiser mist in rose gold, which is that really dark red color. It's not a rose gold at all, really. And I'm just going to slap this on. There's no rhyme or reason. I'm just doing blobs of color, pretty much just where I feel like they look right. I'm going to pull in my watercolors as well in a second. And you'll see in the end, this really doesn't have to be perfect because a lot of it's going to get covered up, and all you're really going to see is the color and the shine coming through. You can also see there a big spot where I missed with the gesso, and that looks horrible by the time the card's dry, but then when I put the card front on, you can't even tell. So it's really very forgiving. I'm adding some nice bright pink from my watercolors there. Really pretty. Lots of splatters. And you can see they're going all over the back of my card too. So it actually ends up being really pretty. It wasn't intentional, but I really like it. Bit of bright yellow. I really love how this helps brighten everything up and just makes it look really happy and sunshiny and fun. Love that color combo. Little more just darker red. I'm not being careful about this at all. I'm just splotching it on there and swishing it around, adding a little bit more water so I can get the colours to run together. And then I'm going to do exactly the same thing on the envelope, but I'm just doing the floral close flap. So I'm going to tape down the rest of the card or the envelope. And the same sort of colours. I don't go in with that rose gold, I don't think, so it ends up being a little bit lighter, which is quite pretty as well. So I do use the pinks, I use the yellow, I use the golds and the coral. Yeah. And I didn't gesso this. I could have. It didn't warp too badly. I'm not upset that I didn't use gesso. Okay, I'm going back to my card here. I'm off frame a bit, but I do come back in a minute. I've just splotched some more of that gold mist on the front of my card because it had faded into the background a bit and I wanted it to be really shiny. So just splotched some splotches on there, very technical terminology. And now I'm just tilting the card to make the colours run in together. And I'm just taking my finger and sort of blending the bits out where they pulled really badly. I'm just trying to get it a little bit more even. And then I let it dry overnight. So there you go. It looks a mess, but it's going to look really pretty in a minute. So that's the envelope finished. That looks so pretty. So you can see all my colours soak through to the inside. So I have to fix that. It looks a mess at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I found this beautiful paper in my scraps bin, and it's a pink floral paper. It's kind of like it's almost got a pearlescent finish on it. It's really pretty. So I'm just going to use a bit of double-sided tape. We'll use my ATG gun, and I'm going to put that all around the edge of the card and either side of the fold down the center as well. I am out of focus, I apologize. It does come back in very shortly. But just carefully bordering all of that with tape. And then I'm just going to stick that piece down, and I've deliberately cut it a bit bigger than the card because it's much easier to trim after you've glued it or adhered it. So just popping it straight in the center and then folding the card closed on top of it, and that gave me a really nice flush seal with no air bubbles. So now I am just taking my big scissors and trimming off all the excess. Like I said, it is much easier to do this afterwards than try to get the piece of paper to fit perfectly without going over the lines. And there we go, pretty inside cut. All right, now to finish her off. So this is a card front. I'm not doing anything to this. I'm just leaving it white. I really want all the beautiful colors to peek through. All I'm going to do is pop it up on some foam. So I am taking some foam squares. I am cutting them into very thin strips, and I'm just going to place these strategically around the card. I put them evenly spaced all around the edge, and then I also go through and put it sort of evenly spaced all around the center in places where it's not going to be too easily seen. They are white foam squares, so they're pretty much invisible by the time I'm finished doing this card. So there you go, I skipped through and that is all popped up. And now I'm just going to carefully line it up with the front of my card, and ta-da, all done. How pretty is that with all the colors showing through and the shiny gold? It is just so pretty. I'm so happy with it. It was really quick. It was fun. Really happy with the finished result. There are so many different ways you could use this. There we go. For the finishing touch, I'm just going to go through and write a little sentiment on the inside with my Pentel Touch brush pen in black. I'm just testing the paper there because it did have that sort of pearlescent finish. So I was concerned that it would smudge, but it worked just fine. So I'm just going to write out the words with love. I don't have a particular recipient in mind for this card, and I don't know whether it will be used for a birthday or what kind of occasion, so I'm just putting something that can be used for a variety of different occasions. And that is all done. Close-ups are coming up. Don't forget to check out the Cutfile shop. This one is available along with over 200 beautiful, beautiful cut files. I highly recommend going to check them out. Link will be in the description box. Thank you so much for joining me today. Bye guys.